friends, it's Brittany from Ink and Papyrus, and oh my gosh, look at all this gift wrap I have left over from Christmas. Peanuts. I felt like I hit the absolute jackpot when I found this. That doesn't even include all the gift wrap swatches that I cut from the presents we unwrapped. What should we do with all of it? Well, I have an idea. Let's make some jelly prints. Okay, so I have my jelly plate here. I also have a smaller one we can use. I have a bunch of paints, a brayer, and my big stash of wrapping paper. I also have a couple bit of stencils. We can do some layering if we want. And some textured ribbon here. I have to tell you guys, I am a little worried about the results. I have jelly printed using wrapping paper before, and I've had very mixed results. I have my suspicions as to which ones we will be successful at transferring images and which ones we won't. I think it really will have to do with the amount of contrast on the paper, as well as if it's glossy, if it's not glossy. But for experimentation's sake, we'll try out all of them. Okay guys, as for the first wrapping paper, as far as I'm concerned, this was a complete fail. I tried some different techniques. I think I put the right amount of paint on. I tried a couple of different colors to try to transfer the images. Ultimately, I switched to black, still couldn't pick up the image, and yeah. So I didn't even show you guys this on camera. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing I got out of this is originally when I was trying to do the image transfer, I used some gold and some silver paint, and it did make the wrapping paper a pretty color. It gave it some shimmer, but as far as I'm concerned, that's the only thing I accomplished with this failed image transfer. Okay, so let's try this flower print next. I have higher hopes. There's a lot of contrast in this image. It's definitely more glossy than the other paper I was using. So let's see if we can get a better result with this one. Oops. Be careful not to put down too much paint. It definitely requires less than you think it does. And if you put a ton of paint down, it will take forever to dry. Remember, you want to put this image, whatever image you're transferring, you want to put it down in the wet paint. Pick it up right away. And then you want to wait until the print on your plate is dry before putting a new layer of paint and attempting to pick the image back up. So even though I want to be able to see my color, it should be kind of translucent. You should still be able to see your plate underneath, if that makes sense. You don't want to go in with too many wipes, or else this will dry and you will not be able to successfully transfer your image. You don't have to put another piece of paper down over the wrapping paper. I just think it's a little bit easier to smoosh it in, I guess is the technical term. Smoosh it in because obviously my wrapping paper does not cover the entire plate. And some tweezers are usually a good idea. Just to get it started. Okay, it did transfer, I don't know if you can see, it did transfer the outline of the flowers. It didn't transfer the blooms inside. So we can always go back in with more detail once we pick up the image. We could do something on our plate right now while this is drying. Or we could wait until we transfer the image. I think I might want to wait until we transfer the image and then maybe do a little bit of editing then. Remember, just because you have transferred the image doesn't mean you're done. There's actually so many things you can do with the jelly print after you pick up the image, which we can do in another video. It's really, really fun, all the things that you can do to spruce up the images. Oftentimes I just use my jelly prints as a base and use them as a tool to like layer mixed media in my journals, if that makes any sense. So this isn't the end all be all. Don't give it up if it's not a perfect print. There's so many things you can do with it. All right, so you want to make sure that this is dry before you put down your paint to pick the image up. It looks pretty dry. So let's go in. I'm gonna go in with a purple and gold. I think would be really pretty. I don't want to get mud. If I'm picking up an image or putting down multiple colors on my jelly plate and one is lighter and one is darker, I tend to clean my brayer in between so I don't get that muddy looking image. That's purple. And remember, when you're doing your image transfer, you want to pick up the image while this paint is still wet. So we try and hurry it up a little bit. We still have time. And I think that's a little too much paint, so we're going to pick a little bit of it up. Okay. Let's see how we did. Give it a good smoosh. You can use your brayer if you want, but I don't think it's necessary for this one. Let's try this. Okay, that print is kind of disappointing. I really didn't pick up any of the blooms. I am a bit disappointed, I'm not gonna lie. So I think I might, which is disappointing because off camera I did this with the same wrapping paper using the same technique. I just used different colors and I picked up the image with black paint. Maybe that's what that was, and this is what I got. Clearly you can see the blooms, some of the leaf, and more detail, and here I can barely see the outlines of any blooms. I don't know if it's because of the color paint that I used. We're gonna try something. Let me get some more of that same wrapping paper. I'm gonna just tear it down a little bit. Though, the good thing when you don't use black and use a lighter color, even though it didn't do as good of a job on the image transfer, it's still really pretty and you can clearly see the flowers, and I can use this for another project. Whereas when we used black for image transfer, kind of ruined the paper. Okay, I'm going to go back to using the black, and we're going to take the print, our failed print, and try and pick it up again for a second time. And actually, if nothing else, maybe it'll give us some cool layering. Nice layering effect. I did see the print on my Gelli plate, so maybe the problem wasn't the image transfer itself, it was actually the pickup. It's possible, I'm not sure. Oops. Oh. Off to a strong start. What can I say? Alright, let's get it so that it's translucent and we can kind of see the plate. That's the thing. I mean, humidity, the paint you're using, how much paint you're putting on, literally everything affects this process. And so you think you have it, and some days just inexplicably does not work. And I really can't explain it other than this is a very finicky process. It's definitely an art and a science for sure. Okay, it seems like we picked up the print okay. Can definitely see our print. We need to give this a good minute, wait till it dries. I don't know if this is going to work or not, because usually you want to be able to see the image underneath, and even though I feel like we've gotten it to a really really thin layer of paint, I still don't feel like I can really see the print very well. Makes me worried we're not going to pick it up again. Let's try. Oh, there we go. We got some flowers in there. Nice. I really like this. I'm gonna probably cut the top of this off, but look, we got flowers, we got leaves, we definitely got some detail in there. I can clearly see the pink and the purple and the gold coming through. So I really like that. I'm definitely going to go back maybe with some gelatos, colored pencils, some watercolors, something later, and just give a little bit of color in the like leaves and the actual flower petals. And I think we could, this is the beginning of a very, very nice print. Okay, so, all right, perfect. We're batting like 50% at this point. All right. Let's see. Oh, we also did this. I did this off camera. Okay. Let's do another print. I kind of want to see if I can get a good transfer on this shark. I scuba dive, so I love keeping ocean-related stuff because I do log my dives. And I'm working on a journal detailing my dives and where I did them, and pictures and special things about each of my dives and each of my dive trips. So when I saw this wrapping paper, I am obsessed with sharks. When I saw this, I had to have it. Okay, so I don't know, it is very glossy. I'm worried that there is not enough contrast. We shall see. I would absolutely love if I could make some shark jelly prints and get them in my scuba journal. I would absolutely love that. That would be amazing. Okay. I made sure to save plenty of extra shark wrapping paper just in case this doesn't work out. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. That actually leads me to a very important point. If it is a sentimental wrapping paper or something that you really, really love, or a picture that you really love, especially if it's an original, make sure you make a copy, guys. I have seen on other channels they've done laser jelly prints, jelly print image transfers using laser prints that have turned out absolutely fabulous. I know they're a little bit on the pricey side. We're probably looking at a little over $1 per print, but still it's worth it. Don't take a print that's very sentimental to you and risk it not transferring and it not coming out. All right, we're smushing, we're smushing. Okay, I see a little bit of, I see some fins. Alright guys, let's see what we get. I'm just going to use some white and some blues for obvious reasons. Well, okay, I can make out the shark, like the silhouettes of the sharks, but if I didn't know that this was shark wrapping paper, I don't think I would have any idea what these are. So that's a bit disappointing. All right, well, I am bound and determined to make this work, so I don't want to waste y'all's time, but I'm gonna try another swatch off camera. I'll let you know if it works. Okay, people, the results continue to be disappointing. I really got nothing in terms of an image transfer here. Looks like I'm just gonna have to use my shark wallpaper in my actual journals themselves. We have fun with some new wallpaper. I'm gonna pull out one of my other favorite wrapping paper. The one with the dogs is pretty glossy and there is a lot of contrast here. So let's see if we can give this a whirl and make this one work. You know, sometimes, and I've done this in the past, and to be honest, I got some really good prints out of it, but I'd say at least half of the wrapping papers, like the image transfers, no matter what I did, I felt like were really crappy. And sometimes I couldn't really come up with any rhyme or reason as to why they wouldn't work. I have heard that vintage wallpaper works better, and unfortunately I only have 2 of them I bought at the thrift store, one of which was this flowery paper that we actually got an image print out of. But I've heard that older wallpaper tends to work better, and of course almost all of these are newer swatches of wrapping paper that were bought within the last couple of years. I don't know if that could have something to do with it or not. I don't know what about it, about older paper tends to work better. I think it's just the kind of paper that is printed on. Okay, I can tell. Oh, we're getting a nice transfer out of this right here. Sweet. Oh my gosh, we're getting the full impressions of the dogs. Oh, I love it. And actually, this isn't so ruined that we can't reuse this, because I love this paper so much. I absolutely love it. All right, I can tell this is going to be a big success. So I have some red here. Why don't we pick this up with some red and white? Yeah, this looks dry. We can do a little and we can see what on there. We can start to see the image. They have to paint the sequence. Is that what we want? Alright, pick this up. We could do other fancy things to it, but this wrapping paper has been so temperamental. I kind of just want to see if I can get some good image transfers. And then once I figure out which wrapping papers actually work and we'll transfer the image, maybe I'll go back and play with some different things. I just want to know which, under ideal conditions, we can actually get a transfer from, because there's no sense in doing all this other fancy stuff if we can't even pick up the print. All right, and then that's what I'm talking about. Look at how cute. Okay, you definitely see the dog and the presents. One of the dogs here, you can obviously see the silhouette. You can see his tail. His facial features aren't very distinct. This dog, you can make out some of his facial features. I think because this was this dog sitting here, and there isn't enough contrast between the brown and the green and the red, whereas you can easily see this dog, and before we printed, you know, you would be able to see this was like a dark tan, this was completely white. So clearly there's a lot of contrast between the white and the brown and the white and the tan, if that makes sense. So I think that's why that turned out so well. Why don't we take another print of this? So you definitely want a good smoosh, but you also really want to make sure you pick it up before it's dry. Okay, I can see the print. Okay, can see a lot of the dogs. Got a good print of this dog's face here. Definitely see the presence. So let's let this dry and we will come back in and pick that image up. While we're waiting for this to dry, I actually wanted to show you guys this print. This is nothing special, but this is actually what I used to dry my brayer off and take some excess paint off the Gelli plate. And look, like, this is a great base for something. I was making pretty paper buttons. That was the video 2 weeks ago. And if you remember, we made those abstract watercolor paintings. This would be perfect for that button project, for scraps to collage, for masterboard. So even a failed print doesn't have to be a failure, so to speak. I was looking at this and I used this too many times to pick up the excess paint from my Gelli plate, and the paint started to rip. And this layer that started coming off almost looks thin enough that we could continue to peel this and decoupage it, almost like you would napkins on a tag, like the different plies. And I'm wondering if we could come back in here with some thick Scotch tape and start peeling, picking up some paint from the edges and just start peeling this ply off. And we've kind of already gotten it started here. So I don't know, just an idea. This could just be a signature page, like a nice background for something. Kind of has a shimmery hue. What if we were to come in here with some mica spray and just give this some extra pizzazz? Wow. Guys, look at that. Imagine that for, I don't know if you can see from your end, but that would make a great background for like some spooky Halloween journaling. And I have some gilding paste. I can't find it right now, but I had some gilding paste here. And I'm just thinking, how cool would it be to just lay some kind of like forest stencil or something down and stencil with some of this vintage gold paint on? You know, this is a base for something incredible. Doesn't have to be at the end. This is just the beginning. So don't give up on your prints. This is definitely not how I envisioned my transfers going today, but you know, this could be the beginning of something really, really cool. These, for example, I think I'm gonna go back in with gelatos and add some petals and color in some of these leaves. Yeah, so don't give up on your prints, guys. Okay, let's see. Speaking of not giving up, we are going to press ahead and see if our little project here is ready to be picked up. Let's do some red and gold down here. bit of good smusheroo. There we go. Oh, nice. So here's what we got. This little piece here, this little blop is from a nick in my jelly plate. I got a new one. I haven't pulled it out yet. I mean, it doesn't really bother me all that much. But if you were wondering. So we picked up the dogs, the presents, everything pretty well. Depending on the amount of contrast between the face and the body, some of them you can't really distinguish their faces very well, but they all have very, oh excuse me, you can see all the silhouettes really well. So overall, I'm really happy with how that print came out. All right, so let's try another wrapping paper. I have this Plaid wrapping paper. And to be honest, this is one of the wrapping papers. I'm really not sure how it's gonna come out. Yeah, I do not think we got absolutely anything from that. Nothing at all. That was very disappointing. Okay, let's try this wrapping paper. Very Christmassy. So overall, I think this is a big disappointment. I think we managed to pick up one of the words over here, which makes me wonder what I did that resulted in us only picking up a word here and nowhere else. Was the paint thinner there? Was it thicker? Actually, if you remember the original piece of paper that I used here for this print, I put my layer of black down, I put this down, and it didn't cover the top initially, so there was a dried layer of black paint up there, and then we redid, so there's 2 layers of paint there. I wonder if that's why we were able to pick something up in that upper corner. Regardless, that's a little bit pathetic. I feel like this video is going to be a big fail. Sorry guys. But you know what? I think I'm going to post this anyways, because even though the results are so poor, because maybe people will at least be able to see of the few that worked, why they worked, and maybe it'll save them some time and some headache, and they'll be like, well, she used that paper to try and do image transfers and it really did not work in the least. Let me save myself the headache. I don't know. for this to dry, and then we'll pick up the stencil. This video was not supposed to be a stencil jelly print video, but I have to be able to show you guys some nice prints, and I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to do that with the wrapping paper. So here we are. Okay, we're gonna pick up this stencil. Doesn't look like, unfortunately, there's gonna be much else to pick up. Ugh, darn wrapping paper. If any of y'all have any suggestions or you've done this with wrapping paper before and have had different results, please feel free to post any suggestions in the comments. And if you have had success, please tell me what style of, do I keep saying wallpaper? I'm so sorry. What style of wrapping paper you are using, what it looks like, about how old it is. Things like that might be helpful. I'm just thinking out loud. Let's pick it up. It's a clean print. Okay, we got our stencil. We also got some vague imprints of that wrapping paper. You can see Noel, you can maybe see a little bit of Mary. Maybe I'll come back and I'll outline some of this. Yeah, maybe I'll outline like with my Stabilo pencil the letters and color them in with a different color. That might be nice. You know, making lemonade from lemons, which that's kind of how this project is going right now for me. What about this? You can't tell me that this doesn't have a lot of contrast. Okay. Come on. Oh, yes, we got ourselves some trees. Nice. We also ripped our print. Let's see if we can come at it from this angle. Careful. Okay. Let's see how we did. Where are those tweezers I have? You want to be really careful if you're doing this, because this is a great way to nick your jelly plate. Alright, I'm seeing the trees come through, the little stars. Okay. I don't know if you can see. This looks promising. nice. We got ourselves some very pretty trees here. Oh, I love it. Love, love, love. Look at that. Okay, and again, if you're looking at this as a base, like, I don't know if you can see, but there's some green speckles in here, and it's like a very shimmery paint. It looks awesome. There's a lot we can do with this print. I'm really excited about this. Okay, I'm gonna call that a success. This little, no, I'm worried that's not enough contrast. This is adorable, and I feel like this has quite a bit of contrast. Then again, this is adorable wrapping paper, and I don't want to ruin it, but you know what? We're gonna go for it. Because that's what we do. We try and try again. Okay, we got the snowflake. We got a little corgi face. Oh my gosh, are we gonna be able to pull that happy holidays? That would be amazing if we did. Okay, so we have something really cool there. I wonder if we can put some of this wrapping paper up top and get like a full print out of this. See, this is still wet a little bit. A little bit in the background there. Okay, I think we got a little bit of it. I don't know how much we got because that top part was drying. Alright, let's see if we can pick this up. Ooh, how pretty. Oh my gosh, I see the holidays. Look, guys. So we got the snowflakes, we got a great image transfer of the corgi, we got holidays, which that darn nick in my plate is kind of covering up, but I think I'm going to go back over with my Stabilo pencil to accentuate that, and overall I'm really happy with this print. Okay, I just want to try, I was looking at this, how cute, right? And I don't know, it's not that glossy, but it does have a lot, and it is a newer wrapping paper, but it has a lot of contrast. So I want to see if we can make this work. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. There's a little bit more I wanted to pick up. I'm gonna lay it back on top, let it dry a little bit more. Oh, I love that. Look at that. You can see the monsters, the fireplace. Oh my gosh, this is adorable. I love this. I love, love, love. And I think if we used a different color scheme, I don't know. I feel like there are a couple of tweaks we could do to get an even sharper image transfer. Because that initial image did transfer very nicely. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Let's see. I wanna end this on a high note. So I know I keep saying this, but let's do one more maybe. Did we do the Santa? Let's try the Santa one. Let's do Santa, and then let's do some ones that we know work. We're just gonna make this a mixed batch. Okay. And our little Christmas, what are these? I can't think of the name right now. I can't think of the name. Christmas something. Yetis, kind of. Yetis. Put like a present there maybe. Smush, smush, smush. Pull. We got a good print there out of that. We're getting our Yetis. Come on, Santa. You can do it. No, you can't. Nothing. All right. Well, we got a good print out of that too. All right, let's let this dry and we'll do a final pickup. Alright, for the final reveal. Come on, print. Come on, gotta print. You can do it. Come on. Alright, seeing the snowflakes. The Yetis, the blank spot where Santa failed to come through for us. Oh, the dog. Oh my gosh, it is so like just Christmas spirit. I am loving it. Look at this. Can you see? Look at the puppers. And you can clearly see the Yeti holding his gingerbread and Merry Christmas. And we can clearly do something to spruce up. Maybe do, since it's kind of like green and gray and black, we could do something with a lot of color here that pops and just kind of have everything else fade into the background. Or make this be the star of the show. I don't know. Or we could even use this as a little journaling spot. So, okay, not all of these were fails. I have to say, overall, I am a bit disappointed with the way we, just by the wrapping paper in general and how crappy some of the image transfers were in general. As usual, as expected, the wrapping paper that did the best were high contrast images like this. The older wrapping paper also did well. Where is it? Surprisingly, some of the other old wrapping paper did really poorly, but if I had to guess, where are you? If I had to guess, I would say it's probably because of the lack of contrast. The birthday wrapping paper was a letdown. Some of the other ones were a letdown. This was definitely a letdown. It's not very glossy, not a whole lot of contrast between the trucks and the faux wood here. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Very disappointed in the sharp wrapping paper. This was very glossy, but not, I guess, I don't know. When I look at this, I guess I'm kind of surprised it failed. There isn't the most contrast, but it's not like there's no contrast. I would call that quite a bit of contrast. The light blue sharks and the dark blue background. And in my experience, glossy wrapping paper tends to work the best. I was very disappointed, but I guess not too surprised that the Peanuts wrapping paper was a flop. That's okay, it's still adorable, and we'll find plenty of things to do with it. Here's the other older wrapping paper that was kind of a flop. Again, not a whole lot of contrast. So I guess you could say, in general, the wrapping paper that failed and the wrapping paper that we succeeded in terms of imaging transfers isn't all that surprising. In general, I was hoping it would be a little bit more successful, but I still think we got some pretty beautiful prints out of it. This was just me cleaning my brayer. Again, a great base. This paper that started peeling up, again, I think that would be great for decoupage. We got some dog prints and some trees out of this one. Some really pretty trees out of this one. This was me giving up halfway through and just utilizing a star stencil. This was one of the dog wrapping paper. If you can't tell, I love dogs. I have one of my own. He's the absolute best boy. One of the other dog wrapping papers that was a big success. Another dog wrapping paper that was a success. This is one of the old vintage flower wrapping papers. Also a success. Vintage, same vintage flower wrapping paper. And and the rest were kind of failures, but you know what? They're gonna be great bases for another project. So thanks for coming along with me on this wild ride. If you have any tips or suggestions for tricks you use in terms of image transfers on your Gelli plate using wrapping paper, or any other interesting things, drop me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. My videos come out on Monday and Fridays, and I can't wait to see you the next time.